Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star original continent based on novel. So let's start. Luo Feng wouldn't use the origin for no good reason. He had two thoughts on the origin. One idea was to use the energies stored in the origin to repair the complete wing true treasure when he got the other three pairs in the future. Just like how Shawu Wing absorbed a great amount of energies to repair its damage. Even though machine-type valuables could repair themselves, they needed energies after all. However, his energies weren't good enough to repair a supreme valuable like Shawu Wings. This was one thought. Another thought was to use it as a trump card. Each blade energy was more terrific than attacks from Universe Supreme Masters, and could crack a top-tier palace-type true treasure. If all the hundreds of millions of energies exploded through the White Wing's edge, even a supreme true treasure would be cracked. As for Universe Supreme Masters, they wouldn't be more doomed. Of course, he could only use it once. I'll try to find the other three pairs of wings and absorb the energies, thought Luo Feng. The energies left are enough to make attacks. Actually, the energies were enormous. Some of them were enough to kill a Universe Supreme Master. However, he couldn't use them effectively. The Bloody Tower left titled Peak Sector, and rushed to the original universe. Shawu Wing transferred a ripple. Master. The wing is damaged, so when it's triggered by your godly power, it'll be significantly weaker, and will hinder the overall power. It has to swallow some precious material for repair, usually the main material for pinnacle true treasures. Directly swallowing pinnacle true treasures is fine as well, but it's too costly. And, more importantly, there are 3 godly bloodstains on the White Wing, and they affect the overall power as well. However, after the 3 wings being combined, it's easier to expel the godly blood. But when it's integrated with the 6th pair of wings, it'll drive them out. Shawu Wing talked about it a lot on the way back to the original universe. After all, it had to suppress the bloodstains while being damaged, so it wanted the problem to be solved as soon as possible. I'll collect some material when I get back, but I don't have enough material with me now, Luo Feng told Shawu. He did have some true treasures. During the inheritance, lots of great beings were killed. However, the great beings who left before the basic inheritance took away the supreme true treasures and pinnacle true treasures. They saw the deaths of the 2 true masters from the Divine Eye clan, so they knew that not even palace-type supreme true treasures could protect them. They also knew that only one could survive the basic inheritance, so almost none of them brought any true treasures. However, lots of true treasures had been left by some great beings who were killed by the monster Quayo, the universe masters who got killed for trying to kill undying fighters, and the great beings from the Divine Eye clan who got killed. The 2 supreme true treasures and a precious true treasure were given to Thundercoat Devil God by Duandong River, while the other true treasures were left in Boat of Mausoleum, and became Luo Feng's. Which meant Luo Feng's biggest gain was the true treasures left. They came here just for the inheritance, so they're prepared for death. Lots of them didn't bring true treasures. Luo Feng exclaimed. There are only a pinnacle domain type, pinnacle palace type, and pinnacle soul type true treasures. As for ordinary pinnacle true treasures and top-tier domain type and palace type true treasures, there are only 12 of them. Those weaker than them aren't even worth mentioning. They are not enough for Shawu Wing to recover. These valuables might be what a Universe Supreme Master could have. Those who went for inheritance rarely carried precious true treasures, except those like 7th True Master, who tried to use Ice Cliff Fortress to save his life. Shawu transferred a ripple. Master. Luo Feng listened to it. There are 4 bloodstains on the 6th wing, said Shawu, and after an eternity, a bloodstain was driven out, forming a drop of godly blood. For the 6th pair of wings, under the influence of the bloodstain, the infusion of godly power would be negatively affected. He hadn't checked the 6th pair of wings. The complete wing true treasure has 6 pairs. Luo Feng got the first 2 pairs, and the White Wing was the 6th pair of wings, so he still needed the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th pair. The godly blood must be the blood of the former owner of this wing true treasure. It contains endless power. Master, You can't use your godly power to cover it, said Shawu. You should firstly drive it out, and then use your star tower to withhold it. Sure. Luo Feng grew excited. Godly blood. The godly blood of a supreme being who could damage the complete Shawu wing. The willpower alone was mighty, and such a drop of godly power could be put to great use. Under Luo Feng's control, a drop of scarlet blood showed up on the white wing, and there were drops of black blood around it. It fell on the floor of the control room of Star Tower. The floor sank like a bowl, and the drop of godly blood flowed and formed an oval. Normal valuables can't hold the godly blood. Luo Feng exclaimed. His godly power couldn't hold it. When great beings trained themselves, their bodies would be energized after becoming undying, and his life imprint was sealed on each trace of his energy. After becoming a universe supreme master, all the bodies were combined as one, and the energies would be materialized again. They could burn their flesh and blood to fight. The flesh and blood had more functions. The energy contained in this drop of blood was enormous, and the mental pressure is strong, Luo Feng thought. Universe Ocean nowadays might not be able to fully utilize the energies in this drop of godly blood. However, it's not difficult to turn this drop of godly blood into a soul-type valuable. All I need to do is bind the mind attack in one direction. If the crushing willpower spread, only the best universe masters could hold the willpower. If it was concentrated in one direction, it would become a laser. Only the mind of a universe supreme master could barely resist it. With this mental crushing alone, those universe masters who have weaker willpower will be in agony. Luo Feng smiled. Even the minds of universe supreme masters can't resist it if they're attacked suddenly. The godly blood could be energized. It could be used to compromise supreme true treasures. It could be used to crush minds. Luo Feng couldn't do the first type, and the second type would be a waste, so the third type was the most suitable. And he had a teacher, who was best at making true treasures in Universe Ocean. These are just my ideas, they might not be fulfilled, thought Luo Feng. I'm not able to make a valuable. I'll go back to the original universe, find Master Sitting Mountain Guest, and listen to what he has to say. Master Sitting Mountain Guest was the expert on it, so he could fully utilize this drop of blood. A drop of blood from a supreme being of the ancient civilization. A supreme being who could damage the complete six wings that were stronger than supreme beings. What an amazing being it was. No wonder even a single drop of blood contained such power. Luo Feng used his mind for communication. Shawu, I don't have many true treasures, and the precious material within the human race isn't enough. So I'll leave the golden horned beast with you. You can go to the deep area of Universe Ocean, and get the valuables left by Jiefanzi. Jiefanzi is a lone universe supreme master. When he went to try the incarnations, he might only take supreme true treasures that are actually useful, or some valuables like Pinnacle Palace type true treasures. Jiefanzi might leave more valuables there than the valuables left by the killed great beings from the Divine Eye clan. Okay. Quick, go. Shawu was excited. They separated halfway. Golden Horned Beast wore force armor, and Shawu winged to fly to the deep area of Universe Boat. He was also carrying Star Tower. With Star Tower, it was easy to get the valuables left by Jiefanzi. As for the original Earthling body, he was wearing Crazy Demon Extermination godly armor. He was carrying the Blood Shadow Blade and Boat of Mausoleum, and went back to the original universe. These two bodies were Luo Feng's main bodies. The original body had Blood Shadow Blade, so he was more powerful. As for the Golden Horned Beast body, he had Shawu Wing, which carried the origin that was Luo Feng's trump card. These two weren't even afraid of Universe Supreme Masters. Soon, Luo Feng arrived back at the original universe, and the seniors of the human race knew about it. Outside the huge Axe Godly Palace in the virtual universe, the 19 Universe Masters and huge Axe Creator gathered there and were celebrating. Luo Feng came back to the original universe. He's safe now. Peng Gong Master laughed. Beings from the other universe eras and the two Holy Lands couldn't enter the original universe. Besides, even Universe Supreme Masters can't use their power thoroughly in the original universe. With Luo Feng's power, he's able to fight them now. We humans will be booming now. Primal Chaos City leader was excited. Yes. We'll be the #1 power in Universe Ocean in the future, said Void Gold Master. The seniors in the human race were all exhilarated. They feared that something might happen to Luo Feng when he came back. Fortunately, he arrived home safely. They could all see a thriving future for the human race. On the long stone table outside Huge Axe's godly palace, Huge Axe Creator and 19 other universe masters gathered. Huge Axe Creator's gaze swept over the surroundings as his powerful voice boomed. We are here first to welcome Luo Feng and congratulate him on his safe return. Second, we are here to discuss the plan for our human race. Rise in the Universe Ocean. Rise. Hearing this word, everyone, including Luo Feng, Primal Chaos City Leader, Blackness Master, Void Gold Master, and Deserted Mirror Master, held their breath in excitement. Yes. Time to rise. In the original universe, the human race was considered a pinnacle race, but in the vast universe ocean, they were so weak that if they were in the first reincarnation era or second reincarnation era, with only one universe supreme master leading the entire race, they would never qualify enough to be ranked as a pinnacle race. Even the 7 supreme universe masters of the Divine Eye clan were not worth a mention, as the pinnacle races from the first or second reincarnation era, on average, would have at least 3 to 5 universe supreme masters. The only presentable great being from the human race was Huge Axe, who was, alone, an extremely powerful being. The other universe masters, within the universe ocean, were weak in power and small in number. This time around, the plan is to rise in universe ocean. Huge Axe Creator was filled with excitement and expectation. Milky Way Horde leader shall lead, everyone else must cooperate. We must breed more undying fighters, more universe knights, and more universe masters from our pool of humans. And from there, we can bring up more universe supreme masters. Yes. 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 One by one, clear and resounding responses were heard. The group of universe masters from humanity were full of hope for the future of their race, all of them filled with motivation. Furthermore, they had heard Luo Feng's preaching and were clearly aware that the ancient civilization had a systematic way of cultivation, which was very useful. It would certainly be able to bring about developmental changes to the human race's capabilities. Besides, Luo Feng was very knowledgeable about the ancient civilization, and he was an heir of the pulse of Duan Dong River. He was the most suitable choice as leader. To choose someone who did not know much about the ancient civilization would be folly. Luo Feng also stood up and looked around. Will do my utmost best. For we humans, to truly dominate Universe Ocean. And become the top power of Universe Ocean. Dominate the Universe Ocean. Everyone was going through an emotional moment. Even Primal Chaos City Leader and Huge Axe Creator felt tremors in their hearts, least to mention the other universe masters, who were all burning with passion. There was a saying that went, a soldier who did not want to become a general was not a good soldier. Amongst close to 100 powers in Universe Ocean, did any not covet after the status of first within Universe Ocean? It was a luxury that existed in their wildest dreams, not in reality. In the past, who would have enough clout to make such a remark? Not a single being would dare say so. No clout. Even when Teacher Origin was still around, he alone was very powerful. No one had ever mentioned anything about the human race daring to dominate Universe Ocean, or daring to become the top power. After all, in terms of power, when compared to the 2 Holy Land universes, the human race was far too inferior. The 2 Holy Land universes had several hundred universe masters. The human race only had 19, including Luo Feng. And they even had universe masters to be, because there was a limit to the number of universe masters the Holy Land universes could accommodate. They were not able to provide them with godly powers to achieve their breakthroughs. That was why, even if several universe masters from the 2 Holy Lands were to be annihilated, their vacancies would be filled up very quickly. Speaking of supreme true treasures, 6th-tiered universe masters of the 2 Holy Lands had quite a few. The human race. Not even one. Previously, even huge axe creator himself did not have one. Luckily, he had since gained his godly axe. Huge axe creator's powerful voice was heard again. My human race will see the rise of a few hundred, or even 1,000, universe masters, and we will see the rise of a dozen universe supreme masters. The two Holy Land universes shall not be able to hold a candle to us humans. How far we make it all depends on us. We are the heroes of our race. Let's work hard, everyone, for the future of our race. For the future of our race. For the future of our race. One after the other, the universe masters let out shouts of excitement. All of their hearts were trembling. Their hearts trembled because this goal was massive, so massive that in the past, they would not have dared make such claims. They would not have had the clout to do so. Yet now, Luo Feng had gained the inheritance of the pulse of Duan Dong River. This ancient inheritance gave them the confidence to desire to be the first in universe ocean. The human race would benefit greatly, and this would bring about an earth-shattering change. When the discussion ended, the other great beings left successively. Only Huge Axe Creator, Primal Chaos City Leader, and Luo Feng remained. Luo Feng. Huge Axe Creator was filled with anticipation. We have to trouble you during this period. Anything for our race, he said. Yes, for our race. Huge Axe nodded. There were two reasons why Luo Feng had started all of this after his return. Firstly, there were too many systems within the inheritance. The cultivation process was massive. Teaching and transmission of consciousness through the virtual universe was just too slow. Secondly, to cultivate the great beings who were going to take charge of the humans' future, many items were required. For instance, ice mountains that contained lore engravings. These could only be found within the space of inheritance, so Luo Feng had to bring them back. This time, our plan to rise will consist of two parts, Huge Axe Creator said with a smile. The first part involves cultivating the individual power of our race's great beings. This will require time. The second part involves our supreme true treasures. You just returned to the original universe. When do you intend to make the deal with East Emperor Holy Land? I intend to set up the main framework for the various systems of cultivation within Primal Chaos City first, Luo Feng said. I think I will take around 10 days to half a month to complete everything. Then I will get in touch with East Emperor Holy Land. Millimeter, Huge Axe smiled. If I had known that you will be able to get these supreme true treasures, I would not have taken the risk and headed for Tilted Peak Sector. I am now rushing back from the core land of Tilted Peak Sector, but this core land is extremely dangerous, so I will need some time to rush back. All right, Huge Axe said. You and your teacher shall make the arrangements for matters regarding cultivation then. Luo Feng and Primal Chaos City Leader departed without further ado. In the Primal Universe, Primal Chaos City, on the high grounds within City Leader Palace, Luo Feng and Primal Chaos City Leader stood by the railings where they had a bird's eye view of the countless buildings within Primal Chaos City. Luo Feng, this plan to rise is extremely important, Primal Chaos City Leader reminded him. The inheritance of that ancient civilization must never ever spread beyond our land. You will be leading the entire cultivation system, so you must be vigilant and take measures to prevent any leaked information. That is a given. Luo Feng smiled. With more and more great beings emerging within our human race, the other races and powers will naturally start to suspect something, which was why I chose Primal Chaos City as the cultivation land. It is safest here, where no other great beings would dare intrude. Besides, there are some things that even if a spy manages to catch a glimpse of, he will never be able to steal. For instance, the 300 ice mountains that I have prepared. Also, based on the different degrees and giftedness of individuals, I will prepare a more personalized cultivation method. The entire cultivation system was massive and complex. Other than the areas that involved items that Luo Feng had to prepare, there were also many other training methods that were placed within the virtual universe. Therefore, Luo Feng specially brought 12 memory stones back and placed them within the core area of the virtual universe that was located within the Primal Chaos City Leader Palace for the purpose of receiving the tremendous amount of information from the memory stones. Virtual Universe, Primal Chaos City, would be the main places allocated as the two major cultivation lands. Those in contact with confidential information were either the core higher-ups of the human race, or the spiritual servants, and regardless of who it was, the amount of confidential information that every individual could get in touch with was only the tip of the iceberg. Only what the virtual universe acknowledged could truly become a system. And, of course, only Luo Feng knew the most. Original Universe, Milky Way Galaxy, Luo Feng's Godly Palace. I just returned from the original universe. Luo Feng held his transmission token and spoke into it. North True Star Master, fret not. The deal will take place soon. A message was sent from the virtual universe. It was from Primal Chaos City Leader, Luo Feng. Quickly get to the virtual universe. What could be so urgent? When Luo Feng laid eyes on the mail that Primal Chaos City Leader sent, he found it to be blood red in color, representing a message of extreme urgency. From where he appeared in the virtual universe, Luo Feng saw Primal Chaos City Leader standing right ahead of him on the apex of Thunder Island. Teacher. Primal Chaos City Leader wore a heavy expression. The moment he saw Luo Feng, he said right away, let's go. To Huge Axe's palace. He gave no explanation. It was an endless darkness beneath the glimmer of the starry sky. On a floating piece of land, several figures appeared by the long table before Huge Axe's godly palace. Luo Feng and Primal Chaos City Leader were the first to arrive. Teacher, what is going on? Luo Feng asked persistently. You will know in a while, Primal Chaos City Leader said in a dreary tone. Luo Feng secretly heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed like although the matter was extremely important, it was still within their control. If not, Teacher would not have waited for every single Universe Master to arrive. Soon, the 19 Universe Masters were all gathered again. A lone figure appeared out of nowhere and positioned himself in the host seat. It was Huge Axe Creator. Dear all, Huge Axe Creator said. His gaze swept through all 19 Universe Masters. Everyone looked over. They had all been summoned here with a note of urgency. I met with some trouble. Huge Axe Creator looked at the 19 top-notch beings of the human race, and in a low voice, he continued. I was at the core ground of Tilted Peak Sector, and met with trouble. The previous battle against Yuan AO Master. That map that got leaked must have been a fake. The map is fake. Luo Feng was shocked. He had personally made the trip previously, and with Ice Mountain Master's help, he managed to seize a portion of that map. It was a trick, Huge Axe Creator said solemnly, but the opponent did not expect my power to be so strong, which is why they suffered a loss. But during the fight, I was extremely unlucky to have fallen into the land of darkness of the core ground. Land of Darkness. Everyone, including Luo Feng, revealed expressions of shock and anger. The most detailed map of the human race that was shared by all had been mainly contributed by Luo Feng, so naturally, he would be the one who knew it the best. The Land of Darkness was a most terrifying domain within the core region of Tilted Peak Sector. Compared to it, other regions within the universe boat, like the so-called Flame Ice region and God-destroying Valley, were merely child's play. Every being knew that any place within that core region was much more terrifying than Flame Ice region. Moreover, they were now talking about the Land of Darkness, which was well known even to the other places among the core region itself. The danger it contained, though extremely terrifying, was still considered mid-range within the core region. However, of those who had fallen into the Land of Darkness, none had ever emerged again. It was a prison of despair. The Land of Darkness, said Huge Axe Creator. Although those who have fallen into it were all universe supreme beings, I have never heard of any who made it out of there. Huge Axe Creator's gaze swept through the 19 Universe Masters, and he solemnly continued, firstly, the number of Universe Supreme Masters who have fallen into the Land of Darkness was very few to begin with, but the small number cannot explain much about the place. Secondly, I am different from any ordinary Universe Supreme Master. I am not trapped in the Land of Darkness, unable to get out for the time being, but so long as we keep mum about this, no one besides us will know. I need time to slowly figure a plan to get out. During this period, my human race must maintain a lower profile. Huge Axe Creator was very solemn as he instructed, Teacher Origin has been suppressed, and I am trapped. There is no Universe Supreme Master to lead our race for the time being. This is very dangerous. Make sure this news does not leak out. One by one, the Universe Masters replied. Understood. Understood. Everyone was clear about the severity of the situation. Without a Universe Supreme Master in the lead, this news spelled great trouble. I am giving my best now, Huge Axe Creator said with a serious expression. No distractions. If there is nothing important, do not contact me. Then he vanished into thin air. Before Huge Axe's godly palace, 19 of the top beings of the human race were seated around the long table, looking at one another with hearts filled with worry. The land of darkness. What if Huge Axe Creator was unable to return forever? What should they do? Without a Universe Supreme Master in the lead, the human race would meet with a lot of trouble in the future. The news about Huge Axe being trapped must not be leaked out beyond us, Primal Chaos City leader spoke up. This news will be classified as confidential, top secret. Luo Feng and the others nodded solemnly. Suddenly, just as Primal Chaos City leader, Darkness Master, Luo Feng, and the rest were feeling frustrated, Huge Axe Creator suddenly reappeared in the host's seat, by the long stone table. In his eyes, there was shock and anger as he roared repeatedly, remember, do not come to the land of darkness. Do not come here. The figure disappeared. All 19 of them, including Luo Feng, jumped to their feet as they felt something ominous. What's wrong? What did Huge Axe Creator meet with? Why did he disappear after saying that? Everyone was panicking. Merely a few seconds later, Void Gold Master's expression betrayed shock and fear as he said in a piercing voice, Huge Axe's miniature universe is starting to fall apart. Huge Axe was annihilated. His universe is falling apart. Huge Axe was annihilated. Everyone grew frantic. Luo Feng, Primal Chaos City leader, Darkness Master, and the rest rose to their feet. One by one, they all fell into a state of momentary shock from the sudden news that had just hit them. This was a nightmare for the entire human race. Luo Feng, Primal Chaos City leader, Darkness Master, Void Gold Master, Penggong Master, Remote Lord Master, Qingdong Master, and the rest were worried, furious, and dumbfounded. The only Universe Supreme Master of humanity, who was capable of leading the race, had fallen. The skies had truly collapsed over humanity. Huge Axe Universe was one of the 2 miniature universes owned by humans. Teacher Origin had been suppressed a long time ago, so the Primal Universe didn't change completely. Not many humans lived in the Primal Universe. Instead, the peerless talents and great beings gathered in the Primal Universe. As for Huge Axe Universe, it had changed completely, so many ordinary life forms lived there. What happened? The sky is cracked. In an area in Huge Axe Universe, the families of Huge Axe Dojo and the elites were all panicked. The peaceful sky suddenly had a giant crack in it. The sky started to collapse. Space trembled, and there were occasionally space cracks. Some unlucky humans lost half their bodies, or were even annihilated. The land started to crack. Quick, quick. Everyone, gather. Don't act alone. An emperor looked anxious, and put the humans inside his world ring by teleporting time and time again. Inside the space were 12 universe knights, and 399 emperors who could perform teleportation. They were all putting the human elites back into their world rings, and Hong was one of them. Brother, the space is crumbling. Quick, take the elites of our race and go to the main space. Be quick. The voice of Hong's brother, Tai by night, was still echoing in his ears. He was a disciple of Huge Axe Creator. Yes, said Hong. One teleportation after another, he put a great many human elites into his world ring, but Hong was worried, anxious, and terrified. The keepsake left by my teacher now has no owner, said Hong, horrified. This is left by my teacher with my teacher's life imprint on it, yet it doesn't have an owner anymore. This miniature universe belongs to my teacher, but now, it's starting to crumble. Did teacher really die? Hong grew even more anxious. He knew how important his teacher Huge Axe Creator was to the human race, as he was their only universe supreme master. He was the cornerstone of the human race. Yet the cornerstone was gone now. They were all fleeing. Hong put the most important elites in the world ring one by one. As for those less important, before they could even take half of them, they heard an order: go to the main space now. Otherwise, you will no longer be able to leave. Everyone. Everyone. Quick. The universe knights and emperors took a look at the humans who were being crushed. They were screaming. Help us. Help us, Nuo Fan He clan. Take us, please. Take my child. However, those emperors and universe knights didn't hesitate, as they were carrying the most important elites. If they weren't decisive enough, they, along with those elites, wouldn't be able to make it. From the crumbling area, Hong and the others fled to the main space. After only a few seconds, the crumbling spread to the portal. Hong saw 3 towering beings after entering the main space. They were Void Gold Master, Lan Kang Master, and Ancestral Tree Knight. Quick, quick. Void Gold Master and Lan Kang Master were both Universe Masters from Huge Axe Dojo, while Ancestral Tree Knight was a top-tier Universe Overlord. So they could survive even if the miniature universe crumbled and the chaos flow penetrated the miniature universe. However, many Universe Knights and Undying Fighters couldn't survive in Universe Ocean. Come in. Gather. Void Gold Master gave an order. He teleported again and took away all the Emperors and Universe Knights. Hong arrived at the main space, and was taken into the World Ring by Void Gold Master. Everything changed. Almost 1,000 humans stood on the plane. They all looked horrified, as they couldn't believe what had just happened. Brother. Tai Bai Knight stood beside Hong and transmitted his voice to him. Did the keepsake our teacher gave you change? Hong nodded. Still an object without any owner. Same here, Tai Bai Knight looked upset. Did teacher just? He's so powerful. He's a universe supreme master. The spaces in the miniature universe, including the main space, started to crumble. Hong also looked upset. Teacher. Inside the main space of Huge Axe Universe, Void Gold Master, Lan Kang Master, and Ancestral Tree Knight stood in the sky, and the membrane of the miniature universe already showed cracks. The chaos airflow penetrated the small universe. It was the purest chaos airflow, unlike that of the primal universe. Quick, let's go to other spaces and see whether we can save more or not, ordered Void Gold Master. Yes. Let's go. They separated and teleported to one space after another. It was urgent, so they saved the elites first. The elites were those selected from the original universe. They had great potential, so they were saved first. And then, the families were saved. Those families were of the Universe Masters, or Universe Knights of Huge Axe Dojo. The land with a diameter of 100 billion kilometers started to collapse, and the space fragments were detached. Some of the space fragments contained lands where humans were struggling. When they saw the towering Void Gold Master show up, they were excited. Void Gold Master teleported and moved forward, trying to save those humans on the space fragments. On the independent dimension of the virtual universe. On the 2 sides of the bench in front of Huge Axe Godly Palace, the Universe Masters sat down, looking solemn. Each of the Universe Masters could feel the terrifying pressure. Void Gold, how's Huge Axe Universe? Asked Primal Chaos City Leader. Void Gold Master sighed. We could only save the Undying Fighters, Universe Knights and the important elites. As for the others, we can only save part of them. Lan Kang, Ancestral Tree Knight, and I are still saving them, but only a small number can survive. Elites are the ones that really matter. Primal Chaos City Leader nodded. Huge Axe Universe started to crumble, and those who die are only a small loss to us humans. However, if we can't cope with it well, we'll suffer billions of times worse. Luo Feng was horrified. What should they do? Without question, the death of Huge Axe is catastrophic to us, said Primal Chaos City Leader. The map is fake. Who set this whole thing up? Why did Huge Axe die so quickly in Land of Darkness? These are all mysteries. I know that you all want to figure it out and avenge Huge Axe. However, for us humans, we need to put it behind first. Finding out the murders and means of revenge, these are things to do later. Do you all understand? Primal Chaos City Leader looked around the universe masters present. We do. The fate of humans is the most important now. Though we all want to figure it out, we're not powerful enough. Even if we figure out who, we can't do anything about it. The universe masters all nodded. They were all the top seniors of the human race. They had Huge Axe Creator protect them before, so things were easy for them, yet Huge Axe Creator was dead now. They needed to deal with everything themselves. They needed to think from the standpoint of the entire human race. Okay, Primal Chaos City Leader said, relieved. It was important to stick together. Huge Axe died. The small universe started to crumble, and lots of beings within our race know about it. As for other races like the bug race, the automaton race, and the demon race, they all have spies within our race, so they'll know about it in no time. Besides, great beings go on adventures in Universe Ocean, and it won't take a long time for them to know that Huge Axe universe has crumbled. Okay. They all nodded. They understood that within the human race, some spies had their souls controlled. And in Universe Ocean, it wouldn't take long for the universe masters to notice that Huge Axe universe had crumbled. Then they would all know that Huge Axe Creator had died. A universe supreme master is extremely important to a race, said Primal Chaos City Leader. They can control a vast area, and they can show up in lots of places in no time. They can revive universe overlords, as well. Without a universe supreme master, a race can't even protect itself. We occupy an important territory, so there's no way the other races will not be tempted. The bug race, the demon race, the automaton race, and the humans. These four races occupied the best area of the universe. Beings born in this area had greater potential. Just like the desert area Sitting Mountain guest lived in couldn't breed any living beings. Even though the original universe was enormous, some territories could breed lots of great beings while others couldn't, which was why there were struggles. The four pinnacle races occupied the best four areas. Besides, territory struggles never end, said Primal Chaos City Leader. Luo Feng received the Duandong River inheritance. That was okay when Huge Axe was here, but now, Huge Axe has died. Who doesn't want the inheritance of Duandong River? We must prepare for war. Remember, when Huge Axe died, we humans were forced into a different era. A more difficult era. This video will end here.